All right, YouTube, sorry it's been a while. Had some family affairs to deal with. Today we're dealing with the Echo CS620PW, which means it's the full wrap version. Now, here is the 590 Timberwolf, which that is not supposed to have that on there. Wow. Yep, it's full wrap. I'm a full wrap kind of guy, as I said that in many videos. Now the blue one, that's just the Husqvarna G660. Just ignore that one because we're not really talking about that. We're going to be talking about these two orange units here. So say hello to the doggies. Yeah, that one, she's a weirdo. That one's just as dumb as a box of rocks, but she's cute. Anyways, so there's a lot of chainsaw builders out there that claim to build chainsaws and claim to know what they're talking about, and they like to refer that we're going to put these on the ground right next to my wallet. See that right there? And and they say that the 620 and the 590 Timberwolf are the exact same units. So as far as the chassis goes, they're almost identical. Some of the builders are correct. Some things are exactly the same. Muffler's the same. The handlebars are the same. The covers, the clutch covers, are not the same depending on the kind of what year you got it in. So the 620 has the full-size dogs, and you know, they don't have a little groove right there for the full-size dog. The 590 does. Some of the older 590s are more like this one, or they actually had a cutout right here. So let's get into the differences between the 620 and the 590. Okay, so carburetors, 620, 590, not the same, will not work together. You can take the 620 and put it on the 590, vice versa, but they're not the same carburetor. Now the cylinder are not the same. Different port timings, different everything. The pistons, same size piston, only difference on the piston is one's a dual ring. So this is the dual ring, this is the single ring. Now also on the coils are different from the 620 to the 590. But really everything else after that is about the same. The crank is the same. Basically the chassis is the same, but all the operating components are not the same, which makes them the difference. So when people are saying, I'm going to build the 590 to function like the 620, it is cheaper just to buy the 620 than it is to build it. So I've done the conversion kit. I've made that 590 into a full wrap because I'm a full wrap guy. Right there, it is cheaper just to buy the 620 in the wrap version. If you take the carburetor, the 620 carburetor, put it on the 590, it will run better. You can do a lot of things to the 590 to make it run just as good as the 620. But if you're going to spend all that money and time and effort, just buy the 620. If you're going to port it and do all that kind of fun stuff, you should have just started with the 620. Now the 590, I absolutely love it. So this 590 has the timing advanced on it, on the flywheel, and a muffler mod. Kind of muffler modded. I've kind of drilled through the internal pipe that's inside those mufflers, and I have gutted the top portion of it, the deflector, and I'm egged out the hole a little bit. That one's completely bone stock. That one, bone stock, have not touched any of the settings on the carburetor yet, and it's pretty old. This one I've done a little bit of the carb work to it. You take the carb off and plug up the limiter jet. But as far as that goes, for those people that say they're the exact same, go to your Echo dealer, which I spent a long time at my local Echo dealer to find out what was the difference between the two, because the air filter is the same, the air filter cover is the same, the clutch cover, the recoil housing is the same, pretty much the chassis is the same, but when it comes to the internal components, they are not the same. The cylinder and the piston, carburetor and coil. Now the flywheel is the same too on both of them. So if you're claiming that you know your chainsaws, do your research before you get on YouTube and telling them how much you know about chainsaws and how good of a chainsaw builder you are before you make yourself look like an idiot. Now, I am not the best repair guy, very good on my own business. I was a tree climber. I also falled trees and was a faller and did all sorts of stuff. I've got more chainsaws than I can probably shake a stick at. But the one thing I do know is these two are not the same. Not the same part numbers, nothing. I've spent my local dealer talking about it. I tried to become an Echo dealer, but I'm just not big enough yet to have the space that Echo is requiring for me to become a dealer, or the funding. It's like $30,000-$40,000 to become a dealer, so not quite there yet. But stay tuned. I might get into porting this. I know a lot of people that port these 590s and do a good job, and a lot of people port them and they screw them up. So just be cautious, you guys on YouTube that say that you guys know your stuff, but they're not the same.